One thing that I think is really interesting about avoidant attachers that I didn't really know, because a lot of narcissists are avoidant attachers, but not everyone who has avoidant is going to be a narcissist. And those who aren't are actually people pleasers. So what will happen in the relationship, and this is exactly what happened to me. So the avoidant will tend to get with someone like me who's like an anxious attacher, right? It will start off really great, everything will be fine. As the relationship progresses, the avoidant will have a really hard time expressing their own needs, expressing their feelings. They see it as a sign of weakness, and they start to build a lot of shame around that because they're not expressing anything that they need. But the anxious person, right, we will start seeing things along the way. We'll start noticing that the avoidant isn't meeting our needs in certain ways, and so we will start communicating that to them. So I remember in the beginning I would communicate my needs, and he was always very understanding. And I was like, wow, that's such a great thing that he's so understanding. I would communicate my needs, he would try to fix those things, but then it would inevitably go back to how it was. So then we would have another cycle where I would express my needs, he would try for a little while, but then it would go back to how it was. The more times that this cycle continues, the more shame that the avoidant is building up. And because they are not expressing anything they need from you, they're also building like a ton of resentment. And it's all just being piled and piled and piled inside their head. And it finally gets to a point where there's just enough mixture of things going on in their life, and maybe you've asked something of them for the last time, and they just explode, and they can't fucking take it anymore. And then they look at their relationship and they say, I will never be able to give this person what they need. Nothing is ever enough for them. But unfortunately, that's not true. In a secure attachment, in a secure relationship, both people would be expressing their needs, and both people would be working together to try to make those things happen. What's unfortunate is that when you don't know what the avoidant is thinking or feeling, then you're just going to keep continuing to be how you are. And so when I look back on the relationship now, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things I would have done different. You know, there's so many things I would have changed and, tried to work with him on. But if you don't know, you don't know. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you've ever been with an avoidant person who just like abruptly ended things. It literally has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with how much they cared for you, how much they loved you, or how much they cared about the relationship. They are also in a state of hyperarousal in the same way that we are when they leave us. So the feeling that we get of being so pained by not being able to be close to them, they feel that same amount of stress and pain when they are too close. They need that distance. And so these are just things that I'm learning. Hopefully that helps somebody.